London, July 5th, 1535. The Thames moves slowly in the summer dark. Torches burn along the river wall of the tower, casting orange light on the water below. Inside the stone keep known as the Bell Tower, a man sits at a small wooden desk. He has lived here for 15 months. His name is Thomas More. He is 57 years old. He was once the most powerful man in England after the king. Tonight he knows with the calm certainty of a man who has been given time to prepare that tomorrow morning he will be dead. He is not weeping, he is writing. Thomas More had not always expected to die for this. He had spent his life serving the crown faithfully and brilliantly. As a lawyer, as a member of Parliament, as Lord Chancellor of England, the second highest office in the realm, he was the king's friend. Henry VIII had walked with his arm around More's shoulder through the gardens at Chelsea. They had debated theology. They had laughed together, and then the king had asked him to swear an oath. The oath declared that Henry, not the Pope, was the supreme head of the Church of England. It was not simply a political document. To More, it was a question about where truth lived, whether a king could unmake what Christ had made, whether loyalty to a friend could override loyalty to something deeper. More understood, with the clarity that comes from long prayer, that he could not swear what he did not believe. He also understood what that refusal would cost him. He chose silence. For 15 months, he refused to explain his refusal. He would not swear. He would not condemn those who did. He simply said nothing and waited and prayed. But silence, in the end, was not enough. The night before his execution, his daughter came. Margaret More, Meg, as he called her, had been permitted to visit him in the tower several times during his imprisonment. She was the person he loved most in the world. She had his mind. She was one of the most educated women in England, had studied Greek and Latin and philosophy, and More had made sure of it, at a time when most men thought women had no use for learning. She came to him through the gate at dusk. They walked together in the courtyard while there was still light, and then sat in his small stone room while the candle burned low. He was, by all accounts, calm. He made small jokes. He had told Meg in a letter that his beard had committed no treason and did not deserve to lose its head. He spoke of the grandchildren of the garden at Chelsea that he would never walk in again. Small things, ordinary things. And then he told her not to be afraid for him. Nothing can come, he said, but what God will. When the guard finally gently said it was time, she turned and ran back to him. She held him and could not let go. The guards waited. More held her. He said, "Have patience, Meg, and trouble not thyself. It is the will of God." She walked away into the darkness of the tower courtyard. He stood and watched until she was gone. Back in his room, the city made its sounds beyond the walls. Somewhere on the river, a boat moved past. The torches outside his window threw shifting light across the stone floor. More knew the arguments against his position. He had been a lawyer long enough to know that every conviction has a counter-argument, that clever men can make almost anything seem reasonable. He had heard all of it. He had read the letters from friends urging him to swear, to find a way, to survive. He was not unaware of the cost. He was not unaware of the grief he was leaving behind. He had written to Margaret earlier from prison, "I will not mistrust God's goodness, though I feel myself faint-hearted and fearful." He was afraid. He had never pretended otherwise. He asked for prayers. He was not a man who found death easy. He was a man who found it necessary. He knelt and prayed. The candle burned lower. London went on around him, the city that had been his whole life, indifferent to what would happen in the morning. He had spent a lifetime believing that there is a difference between what is expedient and what is true, and that a man who abandons the second for the first does not really survive. He only continues to breathe. In the morning, he dressed carefully. He walked across the Tower Green in the early light. He looked out at the crowd gathered to watch. He asked them to pray for him and to bear witness that he died in the faith of the Holy Catholic Church. The king's good servant, he said, but God's first. He helped himself up the steps of the scaffold, then told the lieutenant he could use some assistance getting up. Coming down, he said, he would manage on his own. He prayed the 51st Psalm, the Psalm of mercy, of the broken heart, that God will not despise. He laid his head down. He moved his beard carefully to one side so that it would not be cut. It had committed no treason. It was over quickly. He was 57 years old. He had been given, in the end, exactly what he had prepared for. A death that cost him everything he had and nothing that I was. Thomas More was named a saint 400 years later in 1935. But he had not died hoping for that. He had died because he had come, through years of prayer and honest reckoning with himself, to a place where he simply could not say what he did not believe. Most of us will never be asked for anything so dramatic, but we are all asked in smaller ways whether we will hold to what we actually believe when it becomes inconvenient, whether we will be the same person in the dark that we are in the light. Thomas More spent 15 months in a stone room, waiting and afraid and praying. And in the end, he walked out into the morning of July 6th, 1535, with a joke about his beard and the words of the 51st Psalm on his lips. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your steadfast love. A broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. Let those words be the last thing tonight.